Okay.
I finished chewing.
You finished eating that prosciutto? There's more in there.
I've been doing the Zoom D&D thing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like every time, because it's like we play at 7 on Tuesdays, and it's like every time I'm like late, and I show up with my food, and I got my headset and I'm just like.
It could make cool monster noises if you just turn up the volume. It's like, you guys hear this noise, and you take some prosciutto. Wow, that's a horrible monster. What's going on there?
Something terrible happening in the next room. You just wrap a prosciutto around a potato chip and start eating. You duck out of frame so you're not in the shot, and you're just like under the table like. And they're like, oh man, I don't want to go to that room. Yeah. Definitely not going to mess with whatever monsters back there.
I better not laugh beer out of my nose here. It's going to be bad. It's not going to be good.
Are we still recording?
I think so.
Okay, great. Okay. All right.
Okay. Calm down. All right, ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Hi, everyone. We're back.
Hey, welcome back to the show. We are talking about a cool monster today.
Yes. Now, this was from first edition back in the day. One of the very first monsters I ever saw when I started playing D&D back in 1981, which I think is when this module came out. Yeah, 1981. And they're called Myconids, and they're like mushroom critters. We're going to put this thing up on the... And this is in the series of Slave Pits of the Undercity. This is the part 4 here. And they're also in Monster Manual 2, again, first edition stuff. And we'll probably get a scan of this or something.
Yeah,
so
we'll
let's get it
it
too. And they were just generic, like called fungus men. And Ben and I came up with this idea, instead of just being generic, what if there's specific funguses that do different kinds of things?
Yeah.
And Ben, you came up with like 1,000 ideas.
Yeah, I had a bunch of different ideas for kind of what the different guys could be. But yeah, I mean, the idea was that there's a million different types of mushrooms. And I think even today with the mushroom guys in D&D and Pathfinder and stuff, like, you have a mushroom guy, and maybe there's a couple different types, but I don't think that, it's definitely not as varied as there are, types of mushrooms.
Yeah, because I went online to look up funguses, and
yeah,
all sorts of crazy stuff.
And people are super into this stuff. Like, my brother's in some Facebook group for the city that, they identify mushrooms. Like, if you
really
are, he's walking to work, and he finds a mushroom, he takes a picture of it, he posts it on this Facebook group.
And they try to figure out what it is, huh?
Yeah, and people just are like, oh, that's cool. It's like bird watching. I was like, I found one of these kind of mushrooms. And he's become kind of a pro at it now, where he'll just be like, oh, well, that's that mushroom. And I'll be like, I didn't even know there was a mushroom over here. It's just growing in some guy's yard.
Yeah. Wow,
so,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different kinds. I didn't consult him in the creation of of this, but that's fine. We got a bunch of different cool ideas of different mushroom dudes.
Yes.
And you painted a ton.
I painted 6 of them. So, Ben, we don't know how many different videos we're going to break this down into, because 6 mushroom guys in one video is a lot.
It's a lot of mushrooms.
So Ben is going to pick the mushroom guys he wants for this video, and then the ones he wants for the next 1 or 2. So Ben's going to be the boss in charge.
I'll probably just very abruptly end this episode halfway through.
Okay.
Okay, so here is the first one. It's this little purple-y dude with the...
He's my favorite.
He's very cool.
And he had this weird honeydew droplets of stuff on him. And I didn't know what that was on the mushroom, and then when I turned him to the guy, I just put those on. And he's a real interesting, a very colorful, reddy purple type.
Yeah, and these are all modeled after actual mushrooms.
Actual mushrooms, every sinle one of them. Although I can't remember the names of about half of them. So
yeah, I tried to look them up, and it was tricky for me. I'm not a mushroomologist.
Yeah, me too. Your brother is, though.
Yes, I should have asked him.
That's Clay.
So did you have any ideas for this guy?
I was thinking some kind of sticky sap stuff on him.
Oh, that's cool.
But I wouldn't know what it does. Maybe it makes you numb. Maybe it causes injury. Maybe it cures you. Maybe, see, not all of these things, and that's what I wanted to get across, not all these are monsters where, oh, he's a bad mushroom guy, we got to whack him. They could be like your pals. Or they could help you, actually, instead of being something that you have to kill or destroy. It could be, oh, he's a mushroom guy. If we gave him this, he'll heal us with all this sticky sap stuff, or, ideas like that.
That's kind of interesting, right? Maybe they have like a little society that just happens to be in the Underdark, and they're neighbors to the Dark Elves, and the Dark Elves get along with them, but just because they're down there and they have eyes and legs doesn't mean you have to start stabbing them.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that they're evil. Or that they're monsters that you have to necessarily kill. They could just be other creatures that you just interact with in whatever ways. And again, that's up to the dungeon master, and why we're going to have so many different kinds, and that there'd be so many different things, scenarios you could put them in and do things with.
Yeah. And so I'll pull up the next one here. So this is a cool one. This guy's got a spores popping on top of his head.
It's a puffball mushroom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this guy's cool.
So it's almost like he's like a freight train, like as he walks around, the smoke or spores coming out of his head. Now, whether these spores will harm you or not, well, that's what Ben's going to have to decide.
Yeah. Maybe we'll show them all, and then we'll talk about the different types, and then we can kind of figure out where we're
then we'll break the videos up. Good idea, Ben.
Yeah. All right.
We make this stuff up as we go.
We'll make it up as we go along, because sometimes it's better if we don't know what the other person's going to say. All right. Here's another one.
Now that's based on a king oyster mushroom.
King oyster mushroom. I can see that. He looks like looks like an oyster.
Yeah.
How big do you think these guys are in general? All
I'm
different
thinking
sizes?
anywhere between this big to a couple of feet, several feet high. In this adventure here, obviously this guy's maybe 14 to 17 feet high. And these guys are little. This guy's maybe only about 2 or 3 or 4 feet high.
Yeah.
And I know that there's tinier ones than that. So, again, dungeon discretion. You blow them up and...
yeah, I hadn't thought about there being a 14-foot tall mushroom guy, but
that's a little intimidating.
It's a little intimidating, yeah. He went from to Toad in the Mario Brothers to just monster.
Yeah, exactly.
No. So this guy is pretty cool. He's got a big, long, pointy head.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of that mushroom, but it's very popular in Europe. And apparently the Germans and the Russians like to eat those things.
You were talking about that video that you found.
Yeah.
Here's another guy with some bubbles on his head.
Yeah, this was a fungus. I couldn't find the name of it, but it looked like somebody who took insulation spray foam and sprayed it.
Yeah.
And then opened up some candy and just sprinkled candy on top of them. And I thought, that is the weirdest looking fungus I've ever seen. I have to paint it. I don't know what it is, but he's got to go in the Myconids. Yeah.
And then the last one is a 6, right? Yeah, we got 6 over here.
Yeah.
The last one's this brain-looking guy.
Yeah. And he's related. Apparently, these two mushrooms are related.
I could see that.
Yeah.
These two guys.
They're different, but they're in the similar family of mushrooms or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember the names of them.
I mean, yeah, it's all Latin.
It's all Latin to me.
So, do you want to hear my mushroom joke?
Yes, I do. And so does everybody else out there, Ben.
So, one of these mushroom guys walks into a bar and he sits down and he asks the bartender for a whiskey. And the bartender's like, "I don't serve your kind here." And the mushroom guy goes, "Why not? I'm a fun guy."
No rim shot? Let's see. I need this to be filled with whiskey to handle that joke. That's good. Ben has to practice his dad jokes.
Yeah, I'm going to be a dad soon, so I got to get my dad jokes.
He's got to get them going.
I've been working on my dad jokes for the last 40 years now. So that's the only part of parenting that I'm prepared for, I think. Okay, so
right.
I came up with you had come up with a bunch of really cool designs and paintings for the mushrooms, and I came up with a bunch of different cool things that mushroom guys could do. And
Yeah.
maybe we'll put them together and we'll make a little booklet out of
Yeah,
different
or
kinds of
so,
guys.
well, we'll definitely have a PDF of each what each kind of fungus
Yeah.
critter can do.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I was thinking there could be one that like, if you touch it, it like burns, like a fire coral kind of thing. Like, I don't know if there's a lot of mushrooms that do that for real, but I think that could be kind of an interesting thing where like, any kind of time you touch it or it touches you, it not only like scratches or claws or use whatever its regular attack is, a punch or whatever, but like its skin or the, I don't know what you call the
Some toxic, poisonous stuff that burns.
it just burns. You get some kind of
Battery acid or
some kind of chemical burn because you just reacts poorly with humanoid skin. I think you've got to do the psychedelic mushroom thing.
Absolutely.
So there's got to be one that like causes confusion or makes you randomly start attacking your allies or
you're seeing double or triple or
Yeah.
you don't know up from down and left
yeah,
from right.
it attacks your wisdom and your intelligence. I think there could be like a euphoria one that like either like it either charms you or it puts you to sleep or it just has these like weird properties to the spores that kind of create a euphoric feeling in you, which
You feel no pain.
yeah, you just feel chill and happy, which you don't really want to be feeling when you're in the middle of combat.
Yeah.
So it could distract you in
I like
that way.
that. Yeah.
Another cool way you could do with these guys is the Alice in Wonderland thing, where like one makes you big and one makes you small.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, so like I don't know how much of this would be powers that they have in combat, and how powers that like if you kill it, you can like cut it up and eat it, and it'll make you big or make you
Yeah,
small.
they taste really good with olive oil and sea salt.
Yes,
That's their
a
power.
little bit of tomato sauce.
Yeah, a little tomato sauce, a little garlic.
The bigger ones, you put them on top of a burger.
Yeah, exactly.
I really like the spores, right? So you think a lot of them, I mean, that's how they reproduce, I think, right? Is
Yeah.
by like exploding spores. So breathing that stuff in would cause all kinds of diseases.
Probably
or-
mess you up pretty bad. You maybe
Yeah.
need a cure disease even to
Yeah.
get out of that one or you're dead.
Yeah, some kind of diseases that would either drain your dexterity, like any poison would do, like a dexterity drain or strength, just constitution, just physically weaken you. And maybe I like the idea for some of those manifesting as you get sick, and then maybe like a day or so later, you're starting to see like some mushrooms or like some kind of fungus or whatever growing on you, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh man, I'm sick. I got.
I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about with Hannibal.
Yeah, on the television series Hannibal, if you've ever seen it, there's this killer that buries people in the ground. They grow mushrooms on them, and you'll turn into that
Yeah.
if you don't get cure disease for one of these myconids hits you with the spores or whatever it's going to be.
You're going to become a myconid.
You're gonna
sooner
become
rather
one,
than later.
yeah.
I think some of them could carry weapons, like they could be armed.
Sure, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
They
thought,
are bipedal. They do have hands that they can hold things with.
yeah, especially
So-
like maybe some of like the more civilized society ones, like they could probably forge weapons or something, right?
Or at
Some
least
kind-
buy them or trade with
Yeah.
other sentient beings.
Yeah, especially if they're down there with like deep dwarves and dark elves and
Yeah.
stuff like that. There's like
They're actually making weapons and
yeah,
stuff.
there's civilizations around them that are, and like you said, like if they could have some healing properties, maybe they can trade the healing for weapons. So it might be kind of fun to run into a mycondid scouting party that's armed with like dark elf gear, right? Like,
That's pretty cool, actually. Never thought of that.
the armor wouldn't work, but the weapons.
The
would.
weapons would, yeah.
I thought that like a lot of these things work in can be camouflage pretty well. So
Yeah.
there could be some that
Hard to
are
see.
almost chameleon-like, where they can change colors and stuff depending on where they are, like
Yeah.
a chameleon.
Or maybe even reverse that and become brighter like a siren.
Yeah.
Or something like a trap. You walk by and he starts glowing. He alerts all the other myconids out there.
Oh, I didn't think about
You're
that.
coming,
Yeah.
right? Stuff like that too. So
You had those shriekers in D&D also.
yeah,
that
that's
are
right.
Like,
I forgot about those.
are they mushrooms or do they
There's
rocks?
some kind of, I think there's some kind of fungus thing.
Yeah,
the shriekers
and
are.
they scream
Yeah.
and alert everybody. So that could be cool. I thought about a glow-in-the-dark mushroom. right?
Oh, I love that idea.
I don't know if there are any in real life, but I know that like all of like the stoner black light art has mushrooms that glow in it. So
right.
I feel like I don't know why.
If you grew up anywhere after 1963 into 1983,
you've seen a black light mushroom.
you've seen a black light mushroom. If you were alive and breathing in this country, whether you wanted to see it or not, you saw one.
So I was thinking,
it was forced upon you.
Yes,
So
you could not go to a record shop without seeing it.
couldn't see a bumper sticker.
Not that there's record shops anymore either. Not that we could go to them if there was a record shop. But anyway, glow-in-the-dark mushrooms.
Love it. Love it.
And yeah, they could glow. And I was thinking if you stabbed them, they would bleed like a glowing color, glow-in-the-dark blood. For me, that triggers an idea of like radiation, so they would like sap your strength. Maybe like being near them would make you weaker because they're like draining the light and the energy. I feel like these guys would probably be a little bit weaker in really bright light. It's like a light spell or something.
Yeah, obviously, because mushrooms grow kind of in the dark. Most of them do. And so if you shined them with really bright light or something like that, maybe it would hurt them, or they would run away, or they would be diminished in power. They'd be confused. Maybe they couldn't see.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, because that's how you get dark elves, right? You can blind them with really, really bright light.
Yeah.
So something like that would be cool. And like you said, being sticky or like a slime, that could be a really cool attack or thing that they have. So basically what I think we'll do is we'll take this list of some cool different types of powers that they might have, and we'll
Ben's going to write them up, and you guys are going to be really happy.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.